What's up? Welcome back to Get Paid for Your Pet. Today, my guest, her name is Kimone Campbell. Pronounced your name right this time. She's the founder and CEO of Adasa Properties, Orlando Luxury Stays, and Kissimmee Luxury Stays. And today we are going to share Kimone's story. She's crushing it right now in our student community with Chattpg. She's really jumped on it and has been using it in a very smart way. So we're going to talk about that. Kimone, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Jasper. Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I love helping people and helping my community get better. And thank you for the opportunity. You guys are doing a great job here.
Thank you. Yeah, give us your story. Where are you located? What's your business about? And how did you get started?
Awesome. Okay, yeah. So I am located in Orlando, Florida, Orlando and Kissimmee, Florida. I could say the entire Central Florida at this point. And came back to the U.S. in 2019, end of 2019. Got my first two properties. Wanted to get into real estate. Did a coaching program in real estate investment, which covered everything. And part of it was Airbnbs. And I decided, you know what, I want to do that because I was on cruise ships for 5 years before that, and you learn a lot on the cruise ships. I was a revenue manager. You learn a lot about just customer service. I think I could be good at that. I mean, I know how to make a bed. I've seen the laundry people on the ships make the bed all the time, and decided to get into that business. Got my first two properties in March of 2020, and 2 weeks later, Florida shut down for COVID. Didn't stop me though. I mean, I think the coaching program I was with before, said, stick to what you're doing. Don't forget about what's going on. So as soon as Florida reopened at the end of March, April, the second week of April, we were good to go. And it's been a success since then. We increased to maybe 5 or 6 more units the first year. Quadrupled our revenue by the second year with about 3 more properties. And today we're at 13. So it's been really fast. It's been a lot of catch up. Then I jumped into Legends X program with Jasper and the team, and to learn how to scale and get bigger and faster. And I think now I'm at the level where, now it's going to be 24 a year that the target is with everything that I've learned through that program.
Boom. Love the ambition.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. And I want to go back to what you were saying. You said you lived on cruise ships for 5 years?
Yes. I traveled it was great. Saw the world.
What an experience.
Yes. It's beautiful. And I manage everything. So I know how to, I was managing the spa, the casino, pretty much anywhere that makes money on the ship, shore excursions. So I worked with a lot of teams. So I got built my skills very well there and understood a lot of different businesses and how to bring those together to offer to the guests and how to make them better and how to promote. So... And then I saw the world, of course, as well.
Wow! How many countries did you go to?
Oh goodness, I didn't count it. I think the only place I didn't get to was the Asian countries, and I think I didn't get to Russia, which was one of the. I even went to Cuba, which was great. The highlight of that the whole 5 years was getting into Cuba.
Wow!
Yeah. But many.
And how does it work? Do you live on the cruise ship for a few months and then you get like a month off, or?
Yes, it's contracted, so you live like 9 months for most of the employees on the ship live 9 months, 2 months off, and managers like myself would do 4 months and 2 months off. So, and that was ongoing for 5 years. Sometimes I ended up doing maybe 4 weeks or 6 weeks off of vacation because it got to be too long. You got so used to that lifestyle and the workload because you're working every single day for 4 months straight. You don't actually get a vacation or a break. You get to get off the ship in the middle of the day, but that's about it. It's not a real vacation. But when you're off the ship for 2 months, you start to get itchy, you're like antsy. You want to get back to work. So,
really? Yeah. I would enjoy those 2 months.
I did. A lot of traveling too in those 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure that was a really cool experience. So, so you got into short-term rentals, as you mentioned. Did some coaching programs. Obviously, you've been in our community now for a while. Tell us about Chattpg and how you're using it, because I've seen you in our group just posting up things, and I'm like, wow, this woman is on fire with this tool.
Yeah, the amount of work I've gotten done in the last week is unbelievable with this tool. I I just went on there and just started working. One of my associates actually told me how to phrase the entire sentence. It's a beautiful tool to use. It does make you stop thinking you're for yourself, really, I think. But when you want to write a whole marketing campaign for emailing your past guests, so that's what I use it for, the first thing I use it for. And my associate actually wrote me the paragraph that I would write in ChatGPT to get my results that I really wanted. And one of the most beautiful things that it did, I'd made it 12 emails. One of the most beautiful emails that it did for me was I wanted to promote a property to the past guest. So I wrote, write a marketing email to my previous guest that stayed at Orlando Luxury Stays, introducing a new property that I'm launching called Dual King Beds close to Disney. Full stop. Go into detail about the amenities that are available. And I had no idea that this thing was going to go to my website on its own, pull back all the amenities. It started, in a nice phrase. Hi, thank you for staying with us. We look forward to hosting you again. We would really love to tell you about a new property that we have and welcome you back to stay with us again. This is called Dual King Beds close to Disney, and here you have amenities such as a pool, gym, your own laundry in the suite. It went into so much detail. I was really shocked because I didn't know it would do that. So it went out to the web and found my company name and the property that's associated with it called Dual King Beds and pulled back all that information back into the email that it wrote for me. So that shocked me because I was like, wow, this is like a person who I sent to my website and told them, okay, look for this property, get all the details. So I am going to use it for a lot of my marketing bills. That is the whole essence of the first quarter for me, was to add 6 new properties to my marketing, and it really took me a long time to sit and write that marketing plan. It's now February. I missed January. February I started thinking about it, but I couldn't get into it. And then somebody just said, just use ChatGPT, and I went in, wrote the whole chain up, the whole schedule up, sent it to my MailChimp VA, and she just did the entire email templates and launched the email. Within 1 hour, I got my first booking from a past guest. Wow. For next month, not even for way in the future, for next month. So that guest was probably thinking about coming back, but hadn't heard from me. I've had that guest email for a year. I haven't done anything with it. So it definitely, and I guess the way it phrased it and put everything into place was attractive for her. I did send a VIP discount as well, which helped to get that booking. 100%. But I was surprised that I got it within an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy, and we've talked about ChatGPT on this podcast. We also did it. We actually did a training too, which you can find in our Facebook group, Airbnb Profit Club. If you go to Facebook, you look for Airbnb Profit Club. You'll be able to find that training for the people that are listening and want to get into ChatGPT, and I highly recommend it because, I feel like this tool is changing the world, and I'm sure there's other. It's funny because there's actually a lot of other tools too, but it's now this ChatGPT thing has become so popular that now artificial intelligence is on everybody's radar now, and. It's just so powerful, right? Because that's the biggest, the biggest challenge, for us as short-term rental hosts. There's a lot of ways that we can create content to market, either to our guests or, to get more properties, like create blog posts, social media, all that stuff. But it's just challenging to create consistent content, right? Because in the end of the day, the consistency is where you get the results. But if you have to come up with all the topics and write everything out, it's a challenge, right? And now we have this free assistant that can help us with that, which is just a game changer. Right.
Like you mentioned, marketing, like Facebook posts. I did my entire social media monthly calendar using ChatGPT. I asked it for, give me some topics that will allow me to make a connection with my past guests or with my leads on Facebook or my friends on Facebook as it relates to property management, vacation rental, property management. And it gave me a full list of topics, and then I just dropped those into my calendar. And what I'll do starting March 1st is just take that topic, go into ChatGPT again, and just have it write me a post, a nice post. Like, for example, it would, what are the benefits of short-term rentals? How is the market changing? Questions like these are the ideas that it gave me, and then I can go back in and put that message in and say, hey, write me a post telling my users what is happening in the short-term rental market. And then I'll just post that in my groups on Facebook as marketing for the company, as marketing for me, to be interactive on the groups, which is the best way to actually build your portfolio or make connections with people, is to educate them, right? So you can go on there and make an entire marketing calendar. I can go on there and get, that LinkedIn is very hard to market on, but that's where the corporate leads are. So I can go on there now and say, write something for LinkedIn specifically as it relates to corporate rentals and vacation rental, well, mostly corporate rentals, and to corporate people. And it will write me the special post for LinkedIn. So that's what I'm going to be using it for next, as well as another campaign for my contacts. So write me something that I can send to my contacts, telling them about my new company, the vacation rental management company.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, initially when I saw the tool, I was like, oh, okay, it can write things for you, but it also comes up with, you can use it as Google as well, right? Where you just ask it a question and it'll give you an answer, right? Right. So as you mentioned, it's like, and you can be very specific with the instructions. Like, one thing that I've learned, we had Mark Simpson in our group, in our Rising Star Mastermind yesterday, and we talked about ChatGPT. And one thing I realized is, like, the quality of the output is dependent on the quality of the input. Right? So, like, when you give it like really direct instructions of like, hey, write this blog post or write this email, but here's the person that it's meant for. Here's the person that's going to be reading it. You can even tell it like, hey, write it in this tone, like in this style, right? Use the words that connect with your brand. And the more specifics that you give it, the better the quality of the content, but also that guarantees that the content is unique, right? Because if we're all start using this, right, everyone's going to have the same content. So we got to give it some specific information that other people won't give it, so that like we actually get unique content
and personality as well. Your own personality. Try to put it in there. Don't hold back. It'll probably learn pretty quickly. And one of the things I realized too is that it's best to do like your entire plan in like the same hour or two, not logging off and going back in. Because what I noticed that it did with the emails that I wrote, I did it in an hour. Those 12 emails, it did it in the same kind of personality, which means that my guests, when they read those emails every month, they'll know what they're talking to me. They'll know what I sound like, even if it's not really me, because it just made it, each of them, the same, as opposed to, so don't like write and then leave and come back and do the next batch tomorrow. Do them all in the same batch so that the system can write them the same way, I think.
Yeah. Did you make any adjustments to the copy?
I did. I went through and just made, I had to make edits to it, shorten it a bit because it does spit out a long, emails aren't supposed to be very long. So I did go in and edit the copy a bit just to cut it down. Yeah. But like, especially when you ask it for, okay, give me the top five trekking, hiking areas in Orlando. Write a post that it's about Orlando that relates to, okay, it's not just theme parks here. We have hiking trails, and it lists to 5. So it'll give you like a huge long introduction. I have to cut that down and then cut down the descriptions of each of the trails. Yeah, you can also tell it, because I've been playing around with it where I asked to do the same thing. I asked for our location, Idlewild in California. I was like, what are the top 5 most popular hiking trails? And then I also told it, hey, can you shorten each paragraph to like 4 lines? And then it was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then it just shortened it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't hold back in what you want to ask it to do. Yeah, I held back. Like the things that I realized it could do, I held back, and then I realize now later that don't hold back. Give it all it is. It'll find the information. If you ask it where my keys are, it'll probably tell you. You lost
how do I make my wife happy?
Yes. Her name is that.
I'd probably tell her buy her chocolates, buy her flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually, just for fun, I put in, how do I become rich?
Okay.
And it was giving me advice. It's like, oh, save your money. Look at your expenses, and all those standard kind of tips. But it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like when things like Siri. Remember when Siri first came about,
Yes.
and everyone was like asking it the silliest questions to see what the answer would be.
Yes, yes.
That's kind of
And
like
you
how
get
I
safe in
feel
it.
now with this tool too. Like, what kind of silly
There's a lot of
question can I ask?
places to go.
After a couple glasses of wine, it's like, all right, let's have fun with Chattpg now.
You know what though? Morally, I feel kind of bad about the whole thing because a lot of people are going to be out of a job, and I'm hoping it's not like that. But it really is a great. I'm worried about that, because I'm kind of responsible. I try to be responsible to the whole world for some reason. So I'm kind of worried about the people who are gonna not be able to get these to do these writing jobs and everything. But like I forgot his name. He said on the call yesterday, you just have to up your game to compete, and it is really, at the end of the day, it's really a great tool, especially if you're not a giant company with a huge marketing budget like I am not at that as yet, getting there. But if I have a tool like this that could help me cut some of my marketing costs, then I can put more into what I give to my owners and what I give to my guests in my properties, until I get to that huge $5 million a year level where I can definitely just give somebody that position to write all my copy. But yeah, it's definitely a good thing for us beginners.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, a lot of people are going to be out of a job, and it's, I actually studied economics, and it's funny because like every time there's a technological improvement in the world, people seem to think that everyone's going to be out of a job. A classic example is when Ford made the automobile affordable for most people. Everyone was saying like, oh, all those poor people who have the horse and carriages, they're all going to be out of a job, But eventually, like, people, like, new opportunities arise, and like eventually people will get back doing something else. But it causes a shift. It causes a shift, right? Where it's like, I'm sure that maybe there's less content creators needed in the future. But like you said, it's all about how you use it. It's in the end of the day, it's a tool, right? You still need a human to use the tool.
Interact and give it themselves. Yep.
But it's definitely, it's definitely empowering us as short-term rental hosts to like really up our game when it comes to our marketing. Like coming up with new content for Airbnb listings. You mentioned emails, blog posts, marketing material. Like so one of your marketing channels is you're in Facebook groups, and you create content in there to put yourself on the radar with property owners.
Right. Yes. I haven't started yet on the first. I haven't started. 1 hour per day. I'm going to be answering people's questions, showing people how to do things, educating. And then once a day I'll post something special that could help people or give them information about the industry, or just give them directions, my experience, these kind of things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome. That's what we teach in Legends X. We call it the Property Abundance Plan, and the whole idea is to establish yourself as an expert in your market, right? Because in the end of the day, people think about you when they think of Airbnb and they own a property that they want to list. They're just naturally going to come to you because you're the one that's providing value. You're the one that's like communicating with everybody. So it's a strategy that that builds over time. But it doesn't cost anything, right? And now with ChatGPT, like it's very doable to create that content versus like running Google ads or Facebook ads. It's very expensive.
Yes, and I tell you, I've been paying a social media manager for the last 3 months to do posts for me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, pictures, videos of the properties, etc. No results. And I think that this, just being on the channel and interacting with people and talking to them and teaching and answering questions, I think that is so much more valuable. I knew that was what I had to do. That was what I was supposed to do in the first place before I started paying him. But I see it now that, yeah, I have to put this into play, because paying for it is not, it doesn't worth it. It's not worth it right now, until you have like a good budget. You can just do proper Facebook ads or do proper LinkedIn ads, you know. So
yeah, it's hard to gain traction with social media, right? It takes a while. It's a long play, and you have to be consistent. You have to be posting consistently for quite a while to really get traction with that. So, so let me ask you this: like, it seems like, you know, out of all the people that have come through our program, one thing I noticed with you is like you take action fast and you implement fast. Like, where do you get the drive to, you know, to be such a fast action taker?
Oh goodness. I probably got that from my mom. She was a little hustler. She had her hand in everything. She taught me a lot, just about being disciplined and independent. Like, since I got off the ship, and even before that, I've always been trying to have a business, and I knew I had the drive for it. It's just internal, and I'm from Jamaica too, so that probably explains some of it. Just wanting more out of life, and wanting to do better and do it quickly. I learned quickly. I know technology as it relates to this, not everything. And I keep my ear to the ground for things like this, for Chattpg. And I am not shy to spend money where money needs to be spent, especially if I need something done. I'm not going to go learn it. I'm just going to hire somebody on Fiverr to get it done. It's $20, $30, $40 to hire somebody. You're going to spend 2 days, 3 days trying to learn. Like, for example, Twilio. I need to send WhatsApp messages to all my past guests, and this is somebody recommended Twilio. I went on it, registered, and I was lost. So it's making that decision, and it comes back to being a CEO. You got to know how to direct people and get somebody to do this, because your time is super valuable. You don't spend 3 days learning an app when you can just hire somebody for $30 on the Fiverr to get the task done for you quickly. Yeah. So the results that you see in the last few weeks have been because of my Fiverr hires. That's for sure. Because it took me a while to sit there and make that MailChimp. But yeah, from my mom, I learned this stuff. Just move quickly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So let me ask you this, and I know I didn't send you a list of questions beforehand. We're just having an organic chat here. Yeah. But let me ask you a question. If you were to talk to somebody who wants to get started with Airbnbs and short-term rentals, like what would be some advice that you would have for that person?
Okay. I would say look at your business, study the industry, look at Airbnb, go on the channel, look at properties, and look at how people present their properties. Look at what's in front of you, what is being shown, who's getting booked. You can actually open an Airbnb calendar and you'll see how blocked it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can just click on the first 5 properties and you'll see how blocked it is, and you'll see why it is their comments, it's their ratings, it's their photography, it's their how they decorate their property. That's what helps you bring you up in those in Airbnb. Join networks that people like short-term rental networks on Facebook. Like, participate in those groups, learn what they're doing. Before this, I would try on my own, and I would recommend that you do try on your own for the learning part of it. But eventually I got to, all right, I'm just gonna get a coach. so I just find, and anything I'm doing now, I'm getting a coach. I tell everybody that I don't have time. Nobody has time to be taking years to learn a business when you can learn it from somebody who's seasoned and who's successful in the business. And you have to make sure that you vet people like that. Like I said, when I came back to the US, I was maybe 30, maybe 35, 30, 38 maybe. And I was like, okay, I'm delayed in my timeline to get rich. So I went to a workshop that I said, I'm going to just find a coach. I went to a few workshops, 2 or 3 workshops, and the one that was most impressive to me, and the person who was most impressive in their knowledge and how much information they imparted to me, that was the person I joined. I went to a 3-day weekend with her, and I learned so much in that weekend that I had to join the whole program. And she wasn't shy about telling me everything I needed to know. You could have left that 3-day weekend and started a real estate investment company the next day. And I joined that, and I think that company, that coaching allowed me to get $40,000 in funding in the 6 month my business was in operation. $40,000, of which maybe half of it I didn't have to pay back. And this is because she taught me the steps. You know, set up your business, make a business plan, start building business credit, set your business up properly to build business credit. And that was the foundation that created me and this company that I have right now. 3 years into it, almost 500,000 gross in revenue already. So I got a coach for that. And that's all I tell people now is if you want to get into a business, learn from the best. And there's a lot of free information out there. There's a lot of free training on YouTube. That's really start there, and also have go into the business and learn how people are doing it. Look in the business. Look in Airbnb.
Awesome advice.
Thank you.
Is there anything you would have done differently looking back now that you're 3 years in?
Shoot, I would have grabbed more properties in the first year because they were giving them away down here. This was rental arbitrage at the time that I started in. Yeah, I would have grown faster. I would have had I have 13 now. I would have had 13 in the first year and tripled by now, because the rental companies were giving away properties during COVID, you know, at really low rental rates, and yeah, but everything with time. But yeah, that's the only thing I would have changed. I would have tripled the business in the first year, gotten up to 12 units in the first year. Yep.
Awesome. Come on, before we wrap up this podcast, can you let everybody know where they can find you, your properties, your management company, and all?
Okay, thank you. So my website is called orlandoluxurystays.com. My company is Adasa Properties LLC. If you do type in adasaproperties.com as well, it will take you right back to Orlando Luxury Stays, and there you can book stays for the future. Whenever you're coming back into Orlando, you can search, put in your dates, and book automatically right there. And we also have a vacation rental management tab there as well if you want to learn more about vacation rentals, and how we manage our properties here. And if you're interested in having us take a look at it, if it's possible, for us to add it to our portfolio, because you're getting really great people to work with our company, and a really great Airbnb profile. That Airbnb gives us so much business, it's not even funny. So I see a lot of owners out there that are really struggling right now, and would really love to help them out. I mean, people have been complaining a lot in this area in the last year. So you can go to that channel. You can actually pull a free Airbnb report, and we'll send you one. We'll give you some analysis on your property as well. All right, which is totally free.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've noticed, one thing that we've built into the culture of our own companies, but also our student groups, is we start every meeting with wins, right? And I remember a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people were like seeing their bookings go down, and you showed up and you're like, hey, I have a win. Like, I had a record month in January, and I have like a 2-month booking here and a 2-month booking there. And
I felt so bad after I realized.
We were like doing a call and like, hey, how can we drive more bookings, for the people that are struggling right now? And there's Kimone. Yay, I got a record year.
No, that was terrible.
Hey,
pick your moments,
you're doing something right. So no, it's we need to be inspired too, So
yes,
you're driving the inspiration for everybody, which is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. I try.
Awesome, Kimone. Appreciate you being part of our community. Thank you for joining here on the podcast. And it's amazing to see your success, and I love your drive and enthusiasm, always showing up, doing the work, and that's how you get results. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, Jasper. Thank you for having me. Thank you again for the opportunity to talk to so many people. I hope you guys learned something from me. I love educating people. I give it away free all the time. So even if you just have a question or need some help with something, you're always welcome to email us from our website address. Okay.
Awesome. And for the listeners, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. And of course, we'll be back on Friday. And if you haven't noticed yet, we are doing live trainings as well every Wednesday at 1 p.m. PST, 4 p.m. EST. We stream it to our Facebook group, Airbnb Profit Club, but you can also join on Zoom, be live with us on Zoom every Wednesday. Overnightsuccess.io/training is the page where you can sign up for those trainings. So with that said, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.